Hi, I'm Dr. Adam Miller from Arise MD, board certified oral and maxillofacial surgeon and board certified anti-aging medicine doctor, here to talk to you about a critically important element of health, and that's gut health. How many of you have had a vacation or a day at work or an event nearly ruined in your mind because your gut just wasn't working well? You know, any level of irritable bowel really can affect your quality of life. And our mission at Arise MD is to help more people reach your peak. It's awfully hard to get to the top if you're constantly worried about whether you're going to get bloating, dealing with gas, you've got that discomfort and brain fog from constipation. Look, I've been there, and if you can relate to some of these symptoms, I think the information I have for you today is really going to be helpful. I came back from Asia about 4 years ago feeling brain fog, fatigue. My hair was falling out. My scalp was itchy and flaky. I was bloated. I was gassy. I was only moving my bowels once every 2 to 3 days. And it took me, stubborn surgeon, 6 months before I finally went to see someone. And unfortunately, that person, all they could offer me was a colonoscopy. And I knew enough as a surgeon that I didn't want a foreign object leading the charge in an area where I already had inflammation. And that is really what set me on the course to learn integrative medicine over a year and a half and spend a couple $100,000 in education so that I can end up here helping more people. Now, over the past 4 years, I've had to do a lot of work on my own, both as a doctor studying, but as a patient sitting in the audience at meetings, trying to figure out my own program that would help me day in, day out, but would also be durable so that when I go do the things I love to do, ride a motorcycle in Nepal, climb mountains, go kiteboarding in Australia, ski Lake Tahoe, and on. We just surfed in San Diego too this year. Thank you, God. When I go do those things, I want to be fully present. I want what the Greek call the arete day, fully appreciating my potential. And it's been hard to do that the past decade, knowing that I have this very unpredictable gut situation. So I'm grateful for the Egyptian parasitologist in Arizona who 4 years ago helped me realize I had to treat parasites. And so if there's a question about what your true diagnosis is, I highly recommend you start by doing a comprehensive stool analysis. Yes, they ask you to collect some poop. It's humbling, but hey, what would you rather have? Many more days of running to the bathroom, worried about gas and bloating? Or do you want to get a test done that can help show you if you have inflammation, if you have parasites, if you have mold or yeast in your gut, if you have a really bad dysbiosis, meaning you just don't have the good bugs down there to help yourself and repair? That's what a comprehensive digestive stool can do for you. And this was my starting point. And it suggested parasites. I got my parasites treated and it helped. But it's as if it left me with this damaged gut where if I deviated just a little bit, meaning I had a stressful day in the operating room or I happened to eat some fun food, man, that would be 3 days of torture. And so I've tried, 50, 60, 70, probably more products trying to get a normalized gut. And I'm going to show you right now what I've come up with that has given me better gut function, better skin quality, better hair quality. I'm starting to add a little bit more muscle mass back on, finally. And it's because I'm healing the gut. The gut is where 70% of your immune system is. It's where 30% of your energy consumption goes daily. And if you got a sick gut, it's probably more like 40 to 50%, quite honestly. And the gut is where you produce most of your serotonin, that feel-good neurotransmitter. So if we don't have this right, it's going to be really hard to feel good about our overall health and fitness. So here we go. Starting with the brain, I'm going to take you from the brain to the toilet and walk you through why I'm doing this program, which has multiple components to it and may seem like a lot up front, but I tell you, it has worked for me, and I think it could work for a lot of people who are battling constipation, irritable bowel, bloating, and gassiness. So we start with the brain because health is a top-down phenomenon. If you're stressed in your mind, here's what your gut is seeing. Well, the executives up at the top there, the message seems to be that the overall system needs to be on guard for just about anything. So the last thing we can do down here as a gut that's trying to heal is take nutrients, shunt blood towards us, and use up more energy. We need to keep all that available, that shunting and that nervous system activity, because it appears that he is waiting for a lion to jump out at any moment. Okay? So you send the system a message of healing and increased blood flow when you breathe well, when you're taking a 5 count in and a 5 count out, when you're breathing into your belly and letting that diaphragm move up and down, when you are using adaptogenic herbs and you're finding time to rest. That's how you send a downstream signal to the nervous system that lines the gut that it's okay to do some repair. It's okay to break down some undigested food particles, and it's okay to use some energy in those muscles to increase peristalsis and push some stool down for elimination. The product that I've found that I really like for helping me maintain a cool stress response system and balance my nervous system is called Bdnf Essentials. It has a little bit of healthy fats in there, choline. It has lion's mane mushroom, and it has some adaptogenic herbs that help reduce my stress response when I have a moment that I'm called on demand. So in the morning and in the evening, I'm taking one Bdnf Essential, and I believe it's helping me sleep. I also believe during the day it's helping me be more balanced in my response to the demands that are coming at me as a doctor and as a single guy and as an adventurer. The second step in our process is the mouth. And if we are balancing our nervous system and our stress response system through rest and relaxation practices, including coherent breathing and taking our adaptogenic herbs and finding time to just sit and relax, we will have increased saliva. Now, saliva, most people overlook this. They think the mouth is just for mechanically breaking down food, which it's very important that you do mash up and get the food bolus, it's called, ready for digestion downstream. But if you're not producing adequate saliva, you're missing out on the key primary step in digestion, which is chemically breaking down macronutrients into the micronutrients, amino acids, glucose, and fatty acids. It starts in the mouth. So chew your food once for every tooth in your mouth. That should be about 20 to 28 times before you swallow. And then put the fork down and take a breather. Now, I don't recommend that in that breather you take a drink of water, because everything downstream in digestion is based on a concentration gradient. And you don't want, this is your small intestine down here I've drawn out, if these villi down there that are meant to absorb micronutrients, if they're shrunk up due to age or stress or chronic inflammation or infection or parasites, or you've got some leaky gut, you don't want to have a dilute mass coming through. You want very concentrated nutrients that make it easier for the villi to absorb your vitamins and minerals and coenzymes into the bloodstream. I hope that makes sense. So I recommend you drink some water 30 minutes before your meal. I recommend you wait 30 minutes after your meal to start consuming water or tea again. So rest, chew your food more, and then hydrate before the meal and hydrate 30 minutes after. That's all going to help your digestive tract. Now, in the stomach is a sac of acid, among other things, okay? But primarily for our purposes today, we want to talk about acid. And the reality is, as you age, most people actually lose hydrochloric acid production. And so I recommend that, especially for dinner, if you're going to have a serving of protein, which is about a fist size, that you take a little bit of hydrochloric acid. If you feel like you're someone who has a above average stress level, or you're over the age of 40, a little betaine in the evening for that protein breakdown is going to help you feel better. Now, if you're not breaking down protein into amino acids, that takes us back to the mind and brain, because amino acids fuel the neurotransmitters that give you serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, that help you feel focused, that help you feel balanced, that help you feel that sense of accomplishment and feel good about life. If you're not getting amino acids, I don't care how much protein you're taking in. If you're not breaking it down here and you're not absorbing it down here, you are just pooping it out. And your digestive stool analysis will show you whether that's happening. If you have undigested protein in your stool, you have inadequate protein breakdown and you're not getting the amino acids you need, okay? Certainly, if you're a bodybuilder who's taking tons of protein, you're just fatiguing the system. I get that. Now, the digestive enzyme that I use daily is from Orthomolecular. It's Digestive Enzyme. And the reason I like it is it has a broad spectrum digestive enzyme support because the pancreas, the stomach, the small intestine, all could use, for most working adults, especially in the second half of life, could use a little bit of help in breaking foods down. Now, here's a little bit of an off-label recommendation. A broad spectrum proteinase digestive enzyme like this, there are suggestions that it might help break down early tumors as well. I think they're beneficial for breaking down adhesions and scar tissue. One digestive enzyme from Orthomolecular, after I've taken my Bdnf support in the morning, now I'm up and going, and I'm going to take 2 glasses of water, about this size, 2 full glasses of water. The first one I'll usually just take the glass, and I'll use that to take some butyrate. All right, so I got a glass of water, take a butyrate, about 300 milligrams, because butyrate directly fuels the cells that line these villi in the small intestine. If you're getting the impression that this is a very dynamic, high-energy interface, you are correct. The small intestine is where most of the action happens. It's also where, if you have leaky gut, a lot of the destruction and inflammation is happening. So I fuel my gut in the morning after I've calmed the brain a bit, leveled off the immune system, started to hydrate the body. I take some butyrate to fuel the cells. Now, the other thing that I will take is some quercetin. Okay, I've mentioned it here under prevention. What I mean is, if you've got a little bit of atrophy in the small intestinal villi, and you have a little bit of leaky gut, which most working executives have, most athletes have, most weekend warriors have, most of the college athletes or the athletes that I worked with at Team USA out in Colorado Springs, they have leaky gut. And it's no longer a debate, okay? Permeable gut's a real thing. It's broadly accepted. And some quercetin will help calm down the mucosal associated lymphatic tissue and the mast cells around the gut that want to release histamine. So you go, I just looked up high histamine diets because I get red and itchy skin quite easily. It looks like I might be histaminic. Well, quercetin is a good antihistamine. It also helps raise the diversity of the microbiome, the bugs that are in the gut here. That microbiome, that flora, we don't want to forget about that. That's extremely important in here. The different bacteria, yeast, parasites that are in there play critical roles in things like metabolizing and absorbing B12. All right? Now, in my second glass of water, I'm putting a half a scoop of elemental nutrition. This is a medical food, FDA approved. This is a new technology, but it is the purest form of the vitamins and minerals and coenzymes that my body needs. That's the function of the GI tract, right? It's to filter out these micronutrients that are desperately needed for healthy cellular function, healthier detoxification, the production of energy, and letting the unhealthy things, all the preservatives and bacteria that you don't want and the pesticides drift through the GI tract. That's a function. And getting a very, very pure, absorbable, elemental nutrient delivery first thing in the morning, in my opinion, helps these struggling villi do their job. And I have found that my gut feels better. I think I'm adding a little bit of mass back muscle-wise because I'm actually getting the nutrients my body needs absorbed into the bloodstream. So elemental diet. Now into that glass of water, my elemental diet goes, I'm putting a scoop of SBI Protect. This is from Orthomolecular. And here's the thinking. I put this under Protect, okay? Immunoglobulins, antibodies, are, let's say they're the equivalent of the National Guard for the immune system. 70% of your immune system lines the gut. That's a lot of energy. If it's cranking, if it's burdened because you've got leaky gut and you're having immune system triggers every time you eat, if the immune system's burdened, in other words, your internal soldiers are day and night working overtime. Why not give them a little furlough? Why not give some passive immunity so that your gut can rest a bit? Because you only heal at rest. So I put 1 full scoop of passive immunity into a half a scoop of this, a 12-ounce glass of water, and I get that down right away. All right, so we've talked about enzymes, hydrating, the butyrate fuel, elemental foods, and antihistamine to help to calm the fire before I stimulate with food. The protection through passive immunity. I like vitamin C to help keep my motility going. After you eat something, you should pass that digested food out in stool 8 to 10 hours later. You should have a bowel movement within 30 to 60 minutes after you eat, sometimes 15 minutes. That's the gastrocolic reflex. But if I put a organic wrap into my mouth right now and eat the whole thing, that food should pass all the way through me and come out as waste 8 to 10 hours later. That's healthy transit, and vitamin C will help maintain a healthy transit. So I take 1 gram in the morning, and then throughout the day, I'll take a total of 6 grams daily of vitamin C. That helps keep my bowels moving. It's an amazing antioxidant, among other things. It has helped some guys with erectile dysfunction, so I know it's doing something for vasodilation, and on and on and on. So we've got the vitamin C in. Now, the last piece for us is fiber. And a product that I really like is Pure Encapsulation's GI Fortify, because it has psyllium and aloe together. If you don't have access to that, just some pure psyllium husk caps will help bulk out the stool, help control cholesterol, help control and regulate blood sugars, and will help absorb different toxins and eliminate toxins from your body through stool. Now, I mentioned detox. Twice a week at night, I will take a product from Biobotanical Research called GI Detox. It has some clay in it that helps absorb toxins, and is really nice at sponging up toxins and helping that detox process. The other product we like is called Bind from Systemic Formulas. That has some activated charcoal, just like GI Detox, and some clay. And yes, we're taking activated charcoal. It is effective at cleaning out the gut and absorbing toxins. Now remember, you ladies, if you're entering the perimenopausal phase and you have some irritable bowel or constipation, that's probably impacting your ability to balance estrogens, because you have this enterohepatic estrogen recirculation loop that gets disrupted with the liver if your gut's not functioning well. So a little bit more reason to pay attention to that. Now, in terms of transit time and just keeping things moving, I start the morning after my eyes have opened and I thank God for a new day. I start breathing into my belly and I start massaging my whole belly deeply, going left to right, up on the right side, across the top, and down the left side. Just getting deep in there and really helping this 23 feet of intestines, massaging it to get things moving. You may have some hardened stool bound up. And I get in there deep and start massaging. That will help trigger the rectum and colon to open up and start to move stool down. So massage, we've talked about drinking enough water. You know, I get a couple glasses in first thing in the morning, and then throughout the day I try to drink 2 liters. It's best if you spread that out. Quick tip, if you're flying, for every hour you're in the air, you should be drinking 8 additional ounces of water, okay? So our goal here total is 2 liters of water a day, filtered water. If you want to structure that water, I put it in a glass container next to the window and let the sunlight structure the water. The massage, and then stretching, a happy baby in the morning, downward dog, child's pose to open up the pelvis and stretch things out, helps initiate bowel movements. And then twice a week, I will soak for 20 minutes in a warm Epsom salt bath. That's 2 full cups of Epsom salts in a warm bath. I'll often put some essential oils in there too. Maybe a 1/4 cup of baking soda as well to cut the acidity. And I'll soak. Breathe, soak, relax. It's a great way getting back to the brain here as we finish to relax and turn on that relaxation nervous system. And that will very often help keep things moving. Now, what about the bowl? What about stool? Should we look at it? Yeah, we have a saying that large floating stools make for small sinking hospitals. In other words, People ask me all the time, should my stool be floating? Should it be sinking? Generally, we want large, bulky, floating stools. There's a lot of variation on that. The key for our purposes is you gotta move your bowels every day. And if you're not having a good clearance, then we have to be thinking about maybe adding in some magnesium citrate to keep things moving for you, and really being disciplined about some of these other pieces. Increasing vitamin C will help people who are prone to constipation. And this program is working for me. I just got so excited. I waited a month and a half to make sure it was durable. I took 4 trips in the past month and a half, and my bowels have been working well, and I just haven't been thinking about it as much, and I wanted to stop. As somebody who really cares about seeing you reach your peak and get the most out of life, I wanted to stop and just give you my program, plant these seeds for you. If you need more guidance, reach out. You can email info@arisemd.com. That's info at arise, ARISEMD.com. You can go to our website for more information or to register as well. And there are times where I'm willing to even hop on a phone call for 30 minutes to quick run through this. Our manager and our staff can make sure that you get the right products. But it's worth trying if you've experienced some of the same symptoms I have. I'm Dr. Adam Miller, founder of Arise MD, board-certified oral and maxillofacial surgeon, and board-certified integrative medicine and anti-aging medicine doctor. And I really hope that this information helps you live more arete days.